Well, you know, I think I did a Q&A yesterday, and I'm, no, is that my little buddy over there again?
Yes.
Oh, the little bouncer.
Oh, he's an excellent bouncer. That's amazing. How did he do it? That's the only explanation.
All right. So is everybody enjoying the banging in Bangor? Are we banging the gong? Very cool, very cool. We like it. We had good weather. We had good luck. You gotta try the lobster. Told you that. Okay. But yeah, I'm the guy that has the weird job, and it's all the stuff that used to get me kicked out of class, you know, and it was, you know, we don't have dolphins here at St. Cloud. He knows. He's gonna be dolphining himself. And so, you know, I turned monkey hour into a career. So, you know, the joke's on Sister Mary Agnes now. And as a result, I get to hang with you guys and have you ask me crazy questions. And why is there air? I don't remember. I used to know. My associate over there will help you later. See? And so yeah. So does anybody? I bet you have a really good question. No, wait a minute. Are you? No, wait. You're not the Punisher. Are you Harley Quinn? I know her. She's well, one of them. Not the crazy one in the movie. The crazy one in the cartoons. They're all crazy. Are you crazy?
Yes.
Oh yeah. You know. So, Harley, would you like to ask the first question of the day? Nothing about chlorophyll or photosynthesis in a while. Or physics. I was just realizing, you guys don't have a mic. Usually have a mic. Mr. Moderator? Just kidding, there isn't one. But what
What's your favorite part of being
well, stuff like this is pretty cool, you know? Yeah. But, gosh, I think just knowing that I get to do stuff, you know, like when I was a kid, I would sing songs in the shower, you know, and I would do impressions of all my aunts and uncles and teachers and brothers and sisters and parents, and it was really popular with that. They loved it. But I think, you know, turning that into something that lots of people got a kick out of, not just me sitting in the corner, ooh, you know. I think that's one of my favorite things, knowing that you know, I've got a huge family, nieces, nephews, with 4 daughters of my own, and I've always told them, like, I'm going to tell you, oh God, you're going to do it again. But if you do something that you like, and arranging flowers, shining shoes, doing math, being an accountant, don't be an accountant. Be a judge or something. No, but if you do it well enough and you keep doing it, and then somebody will pay you to do it, then I think that's kind of like the recipe for at least success in your career, for a job. So that's kind of my favorite thing. You know, it's part of my favorite thing. I probably don't have a favorite thing, but it's in there. You know, and then plus you can make a lot of folks happy and they have a good time. And, you know, they get an impression that little kids like. I'm gonna give this kid $10. He's really good. I hope he's my punchline. But it's fun, you know. It's a very favorite. It's one of my favorite things. So yeah. And then, you know, singing is one of my favorite things anyway too. And you know, I got to sing. You don't remember? It's been a while ago, but there was a claymation shows, and there was commercials, and then there was a regular cartoon show for a while, the California Raisins. Yeah. Well, see, I mean, you know, we ended up singing all these Motown songs, all these Temptation songs, and everything. It's like I was singing them for free in the shower when I was a kid. Anyway, it's like, your favorite do that? There's a favorite thing. Okay, that's pretty favorite. You know, so it all kind of collides together. Yeah, and then I get to hang out with you. So that's pretty favorite-ish too. Yeah, very cool. Anybody else? Who's got one? Oh, of course this dude has one.
favorite character and what is your least favorite character and why?
Oh, geez, you know, I get that one a lot, but, you know, Pooh and Tigger are, I don't really have one. I don't have one. He was asking what the favorite character is. I don't have one. You know, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger are so great because I've been doing them, yeah, I've been doing them the longest, yeah. Because I've, since 1987, you know, so that's been out there for a while, so it's way up there in the favorites. But then, you know, I love Ray from Princess and the Frost, and he's one of my main guys, and Darkwing Duck, the terror that flaps in the night, is way up there. And I like Hondo Naka, Star Wars. Anybody here ever heard of Star Wars? So, and he's like the tiniest cog in the Star Wars universe, but it's just fun to be associated, you know, with it. And, so I guess I have like 5 or 6 or 8 favorite characters.
I don't want them to get mad at each other. You know, I thought I was your favorite.
Later on tonight, you have a dream and they're going to be fighting for
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, but, yeah, that was like a top 10. And I'll fill it in eventually. Yes, sir.
So, what were some of your favorites?
Oh, yeah, gosh, I liked Beanie and Cecil when I was coming up. Geez, Heckle and Jekyll were really cool. And all the Warner Brothers, I used to love Bangor Lego. You know, and I like Taz. There were like 5 Taz cartoons. You know, it's like the Jetsons. I think like the original Jetsons. It seems like, you know, they're in reruns forever. But I think it was like 13 they made of them. And it was pretty cool, but it seems like there must have been hundreds, but no, they just kept playing them over again. Just as cool, Flintstones, I mean, I remember those as a kid. And there was one that you'll never see again called Calvin and the Colonel. And it was a takeoff on, and I think it was supposed to be a cartoon version of Amos and Andy, which was the old radio show that I guess they put on TV, you know, in the early 50s or whatever. And that was an animated version of it, but I guess it was politically incorrect nowadays, so you'll never see it again. But it was Calvin and the Colonel, and I remember those, and, gosh, what else? I dug Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse was cool. Here I come to sing the day. Not Mighty Mouse, obviously. But that, yeah, those guys. Probably a few others sneaking in there somewhere. Yes, sir.
Now, other than Paul Winchell, you also worked with other Winnie the Pooh alumni, John Fiedler and Hal Smith, is that right?
Yeah.
What were they like?
Yeah, Hal was great. Hal was the original Owl, and it was so cool. I actually met him in my very first job period. It was Dumbo Circus, and he played Fair Dinkum, which was an Australian koala. And I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world, because he was definitely Owl, obviously, but they hadn't started Winnie the Pooh yet, so I didn't know him in that way. And it was my very first job. And all I can think is, how cool is it that I'm in a show with Otis Campbell from, you know, the Andy Griffith Show, and he was the town drunk. If you got, you know, those old black and white Andy Griffiths where Opie was Richie Cunningham, who turned into Ron Howard. And, but I mean, I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And, you know, and John was great too. John was a sweet, sweet, sweet man. And it's interesting, John Fiedler, who played Piglet, and Sterling Holloway, who played Winnie the Pooh, they weren't doing a character voice. They were just talking. But you know, he had that, I can't do Piglet. But that was just him talking. And it was really cool, you know, you start talking, you go, wow, you really are Piglet. That's kind of cool. You know, I don't know if the chicks dubbed Piglet's voice. Here. He's not that many girls. But it was a lot of fun, and Hal Smith himself, he would just, you know, and I'll never forget my younger brother came out to visit me when I first got into business, and he brought his friend Dave Simon. You know, your little brother's always a groover, right? And he comes up, and his friend goes up to Hal, and he says, and because, I mean, gosh, I think it must have been like 25-year gap from when they first made those, because they were in black and white, and this is and then, I guess late sixties to the late eighties. And so he was an older guy, you know, and I guess, you know, we all look a little different when we get old. And Dave walks up to Hal Smith, who played Fair Dinkum on Demo Circuit. He goes, "Well, you know, I don't want to offend you, and I don't want to make you feel bad, and please don't think I'm insulting you. But you know what you remind me of? The guy on Andy Griffith that was the drunk." He said, "You don't want to insult him by telling him he looks like himself? Yeah, that would be." "Yeah, he looked just like you. Oh, and you're really ugly too. Oh, well, thanks. Nice to meet you. Okay, get Dave out of here." Kind of fun stuff there. But he's a great guy. Very great guy. And he did Pooh also. He was kind of like Pooh Light. He said he would joke around and say, "I don't know, I do this very well," you know. But Sterling was retired at the time. And then that's how I got the job too, when he was still alive, God bless him, but he was, I want to say it was like maybe 92. So he was entitled, "I want to stay home," you know. Get Cummings. So I'm glad, you know. Great people. Yes. And Ivory.
Okay, so as I told you earlier, huge fan of Lion King. What made you choose Ed, or did they explain to you why they chose you for Ed?
Well, I didn't choose Ed. They chose me. You know, stuff like that you have to audition for. But it's funny. One of the coolest guys ever you'll meet is a guy named Frank Welker, and it's funny because most of his characters are. They're almost like sound effects, but I mean, he's been doing it since the 60s. Greatest guy in the world, cool as he could be. And he's the guy that does, he did Slimer for, we were talking about him yesterday. And he did Cujo, Stephen King's Cujo, the dog, the voice in Spock's Scream. And he was Raja, the tiger in Aladdin. And he was Abu, the monkey, the chimp, and you know, and he's Curious George, you know. And so they hired Frank first to do Ed, and Ed was Lion King. I mean, it was just all insane laughter, and they didn't kind of know what to do with him. But you know, Frank did it, and they called him first, and yeah, it wasn't feeling it, and they're kind of going, well, yeah, you know. And he goes, you know what, just for laughs, call up Jimmy Cummings and bring him in. And so, oh wow, okay, so I go in, and you know, we ended up doing, and I obviously was Ed, and so I bought him a bottle of champagne. But I didn't choose it per se. They chose me. You know, they were looking around because it's like, okay, this guy doesn't say anything, but he has to convey all these things. And what they ended up doing was, we got a legal pad and wrote down fear, anger, hunger, betrayal, lust, trepidation, blah, blah, all these emotions, blah, 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 like, and then I had to laugh them. So, okay, laugh, fear. You know, and so I was fearfully laughing. But he had to do it all with laughter, so it's kind of a weird gig, right? You know, okay, you're scared to death, now laugh. I'm ready to poop my pants, I don't think I'll laugh. Mufasa, ooh, you know. And no, that wasn't my tone, when they said, right, Ed? That was, I don't know. Well, that's how that happened, yes. Yes.
I know that you famously sang like the second part of Be Prepared after Jeremy Irons.
I did all the singing. He did all the talking.
Oh.
I did like 6 lines.
So everybody always said that you did only the second part of the song. But I was like, wouldn't they just
Everybody
do the
always
entire
says
song if he couldn't do the whole song? But
Oh, well, no, well, see, the thing is, you know, he sang it all the way through,
yeah.
you know, but, you know, they wanted him to do the speaking, but, gosh, I used to have this memorized, but, well, he never even said the word of the song. He never even said the name. Be prepared, never made it to the chorus. That's, I know it sounds salted. You know, that's all me. I'm the one that and then I laugh. I don't know why we laugh at this. Laughs at this. What's so funny? I'm going to kill everyone. I have no I wrote the fart verse in Hakuna Matata. Glass out the wazoo. And, Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella were Timon and Pumbaa, and they're not musicians or singers per se, or at all. We're not here, what are you doing? They said, they're going, and not that you know this, but it's kind of hard if you're in a singing session. A lot of actors don't sing, and a lot of singers don't act, right? Well, I can't do either one, so they let me do both. And they go, well, let's get Jim and Chas to sing Hakuna Matata, like for a demo, and we'll give it to Nathan and Ernie, and they were on a cassette. They can ride around in their car for a month, listen to it, because that way you show up at the studio, and then you kind of know it the same way you do Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or Happy Birthday. It's in your head, or oh, now you know it, right? And so they said, oh, okay. But we got there, and Jess was going to be Timon, and I was going to be Pumbaa, and the arrangement of the song was almost done. Not quite, but they had some tracks down, and they didn't like the lyrics, but Tim Rice wasn't there, my close personal friend, Sir Tim Rice. Sir, what's his name, Elton somebody, anyway. But, and the lyrics were all, when I was a kid it was tough, you got it easy, it was hard for me, you're a little weasel, and I did all the work, and it's like, oh man, my dad used to go back and forth to school, uphill both ways, and it always snowed. And he was going uphill both ways to school, nobody wanted to hear that, so. But wait a minute, we're talking earlier about this warthog having gas problems? Yes, we were, Jim, why? And I said, well, so I whispered some lyrics to Jess, and so we just did the shame, but what's in a name? And what's in a name? Blah, 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 blah. And I got downhearted. Tell me, how did you feel? Every time that not in front of the kids. Sorry. Hakuna Matata. So I alluded to the word farted. But we didn't say it. See? And it was so funny because. And then Kenneth Turin, the critic for the LA Times, goes, wow, Disney's got the coolest movie ever, and it kind of ticked me off. He goes, in one song, they've got probably the most evil bastard, getting ready to just kill everything in sight, really the darkest, most dreary, scariest Disney song ever, and then the other one, they talk about breaking wind. So damn, they were both me. Jeremy Irons and Nathan Lane and Pumbaa, Timon, Ernie Sabella, who got the credit. So it's like, damn, no respect, And then I was in Princess and the Frog, and I got another fart joke in that one because I was trying to screw on my butt real hard, and it went, excuse me. So I like to pass things up. So yes, my dear.
Since you're in a singing mood,
I'm always in a singing mood.
can you sing the Tigger song?
Yes.
Will you?
Oh, that's better. Yes, I've heard that. I mean, the wonderful thing about tiggers, that tiggers are wonderful things. Their cups are made of their bottoms are made of springs. They're flumpy, bumpy, trumpy, bumpy, fun. But the most wonderful thing about tiggers is I'm the only one. I'm the only one who. I was going to ask him. Yes, sir.
Did you reprise your role of Pooh or Pete
Yes.
in the Kingdom Hearts games?
Oh, yeah, he's in there. That's cool. And I screwed up once because I said I thought we did the third one. Oh, we didn't. We did the first one, the second one, and 2.5. Happy? Oh my gosh! Ooh, we take our video games seriously. But and so the next question is, when will 3 be out? I don't know.
I don't want this to go.
Is that any different from voicing them from like cartoon, or is this basically?
That's more annoying. They, no, it's, you know, I'm not crazy about recording video games unless they pay me too much. But, no, because you have to say, no, those aren't bad. Some of the other ones are like crazy, too many words, that's why I don't do that many of them. But no, it was Pete, you know, just standard Pete. The weirdest thing is, the hardest thing about those gigs, and I've done 3 of them, but only 2.5 count. Keep that going. But you see, they come from Japan. They're animated in Japan, and the way a lot of people think it's. I'll just give you a quick peep on this. A lot of people think that they draw it first, then you go into a movie theater and you look up at it, and you're doing words to the thing, you know, but you don't. They record it first because an animator. If you think about it, you can't draw comedic timing, or you can't draw dramatic tension, you know. But if you hear it, you can go, oh, okay, I can drag this out. So, you know, so you do, the result is you do the voice first. It's like recording the radio play. So since they're doing it in Japan, and Disney has it's the darndest thing you'd ever want to hear. I've heard several of my characters like go all around the world, like Darkwing does. Je te plais, c'est mon That was the French one. That would be the German one, you know what that is. And so when Pete comes from Japan, I have to replace it. Well, they have a different word for everything over there, I'll tell you what. And, you know, so Pete's comes up and he's like, Muy Shabaya, Udaya Khala, Bididaboo. See, then you know, oh, wow, so that's Pete, huh? Well, how you doing over there, pal? It's Winnie the Pooh, and that's the English one. So, you know, you have to match your lips
Take the time to hear.
to theirs, and it's a lot of fun. No, it's not. But yeah, I don't know if that answered your question. It was kind of a long-winded one. But yeah, there you have it. But yes, sir.
How'd you like working for Disney?
Oh, I hate those guys. I made part of that answer up. No, it's great. It's great. You know, it's really cool. When I was a kid, I guess I was a Disney kid anyway. I didn't even know it. I was crazy about Annette. Hello. But, you know, because I was at that age, and you know, I had my Mickey Mouse shirt. Man, I was 4 years old. I was glued to, you know, Sunday night. Let's see, the Real McCoys. Zorro came on. The Wonderful World of Color. Disney Mickey Mouse Club. I was there. You know, so growing up, and you know, I was born in Youngstown, Ohio. The last thing I ever thought I would be doing was this much Disney stuff. But I'm just honored. I love it. You know, I like it. I feel like you're part of a, you know, great tradition. It's kind of Americana, you know, from Davy Crockett on actual Americana on down to you know, all the things that they've developed. It's just, I like it. You know, it's great to be part of a tradition. You know, so I'll take it. Yeah. And DreamWorks ain't bad. I think I have that now. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my friend was watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit again last
Oh
night.
yeah.
And noticed your name in the credits as one of the
Yeah.
villains.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to place which one you were.
Well, I was the one
Lines, if
in
you-
Yosemite Sam's Gun, and there was Jim Gallant played the sort of Walter Brennan bullet. The idea was they're going to have all his bullets sound like old Western movie sidekicks. You know, so Walter Brennan, he was always like John Wayne's sidekick in those movies. And then Andy Devine was always Roy Rogers' sidekick. And then Pat Buttram, you remember Mr. Douglas from Green Acres? You know, that was him talking too. That's just how he talked. And he was the coolest guy around. I went to heaven when I saw him, met him. And Pat Buttram played himself. So how cool was that? But I was the Andy Devine one. I was Andy now, and what are you still? You know, and that was my very, very first thing I ever did. I was like, 85, I think 1985, and I was a couple of the weasels too And man, we stayed up, and I was on set, which was weird. It was completely different than any other one. And I'm standing there like, I was outside of Fred, like the camera's here, and Bob Hoskins is here. And they had like a giant, kind of a Gumby, life-size weasel, and he was all tied up or something, and he'd be talking to the weasel, and I'd be right off camera, and he'd look focused, they'd pull the weasel out, and I'd be over here, and I was sitting there with black velvet all over me, with just my face sticking out, so I could do the voice, I could tread out my stuff, but I wouldn't reflect light, into the shot and screw up the shot, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, I was pulling, and I was a couple of weasels, but then they edited the scene. We're there till like 4 o'clock in the morning in Griffith Park with Bob Hoskins tied up in a gigantic, and I don't even think, I can't remember if this made it in the movie or not. Can't tell if I'm remembering it or if it was in the movie. I haven't seen the movie in a long time. But he was in this giant thing that was made out of duct tape. And he was completely, is that scene in the movie or is it just in my memory?
It got removed. It's a deleted scene.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay, so it's, maybe that's where I saw it. Plus, I was there. But, we sometimes forget, I. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, friend Roger Rabbit.
Actually, like, just bringing that up, what is other, like, weird things you had to do for, like, voice acting for movies or shows and stuff like that?
Well, the stupidest one, the worst one, that is a movie that you've never seen, and it's called The Mangler, and it was written by somebody named Stephen King. Yeah, a local boy. Apparently he done real well with that. But it was, I think he wrote it after Christine, which was really hip. I read the book, and then they made the movie. That was really cool. And the car was possessed with a 57 Chevy. He played cool songs and this and that. So I guess he was on a roll. And then he wrote this one. It was a short story, The Mangler. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but it was an industrial strength pressing machine. Like you could press or iron like a circus tent in this thing. It's huge, but like, and it was one of those, and it steamed and it pulled everything through, and it was like made like the Industrial Revolution. It was supposedly really, really old. Nobody saw this, right? The Bangor. You're doing fine. And it was Tobe Hooper, the same guy who made the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So you'd have thought, oh, this could be good. In fact, Buffalo Bill, the guy from Silence of the Lambs, he was in it. He was the bad guy. A lot of people were in it. But it was this pressing machine that killed people. And I was thinking, wait, now what happened? I was thinking, unplug it. Hold on. Go home, bring back like 40 ironing boards. We can do the same job, but we won't die. But no, they kept it plugged in, and it kept pulling people in there day after day after day. And I was the voice of the Mangler, and they're talking about, and they didn't even audition me; they just gave it to me, and I go, well, what do we do? And then they were describing it, and so it was like a 4-layered process. And I said, well, we're doing this one on Friday night. It's something you don't want to hurt your pipes, and one of them. And that was one of the layers. And then the other one was like the opposite of. And then it was. And then you put all that together, and then you dip it in reverb, and then you're going. Now it sounds pretty scary, but it's still just a big spreading press. And they never unplug it. They just stick it in anyway, and I'm like, God, this is just as bad as it gets. And it is if you saw it, and you didn't, so that proves it. And then I saw it in the theater, and I went, oh, okay, I'm gonna go. And I thought it was just as bad as I thought, and maybe a little worse. And then in the end, my favorite thing, they wrote Tim Cummings. And I went, yes! I don't even know Tim. He sucks, doesn't he? I wasn't in this stupid movie before. So it's okay. So I highly recommend it because I wasn't in it. But yeah, that would be the worst.
No, thank you for telling us a side story of someone else.
him, he'll tell you the rest, yeah.
I just have kind of a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you ever do any voice acting from home, or do you always go to the set?
Yeah, you know, you have a studio, it's not very fancy, but it gets the job done. I have really fancy, acoustic setup, I think it's a beach towel. Anyway, you know, get that good, you know, sounds great. But, oh yeah, we're almost done. But, we'll do one more question, but, yeah, I do, now singing and animation you have to go in for, but I like that anyway. You know, you go in and, you know, I have a sort of a blue collar work ethic toward a no collar career, I always say, you know, but no, I do promos at home all the time, like, coming up next, the Big Bang Theory, you know, that stuff you do at home, you know, make it. Clothes on and go in, you know. Aren't you glad you asked?
I'm gonna agree with you tonight.
And the Big Bang Theory, oh gosh. That guy sounds like he's not wearing any clothes. Yes, sir. Yeah. I ruined everything for you. I got this the last one. Yes, sir.
What was your absolute favorite line from Darkwing Duck?
Oh, wow. You know, the call, the thing, you know, I am the terror that flaps in the night. And, you know, like 9 shows in, for what it's worth, so he was always being, you know, he'd show up and, I am the terror that flaps, you know, powder, louder, and he appears. And then the middle line would always change, but the end line was always, I am Darkwing Duck. And so about 9 shows in, you know, the writer's writing, and it was, I am the terror that flaps in the night. It doesn't matter what I write here, Jim's gonna make something else up anyway.